We're going to kick off straight away. Justin, we're going to give you 5 minutes. You're going to present your big idea. If it's longer than that, I will come and cut your legs off, and then I'm going to grill you on both sides. So
wonderful.
You've got 5 minutes.
I have worked with Joe before, so I know he's not messing. So now you all know who to pitch your stuff to if you want money. It's that side of the table. Hi everybody, welcome. I'm going to take 5 minutes to tell you about one aspect of our business, but before I do, every presentation at Ben & Jerry's starts with this slide, so even though that's not the slide 100%, you have to start with this slide. And you have to recognize that what we're talking about today, the list that Andy just read out of all the people, all the organizations that are involved in this movement now, and the passion and the energy we got, was not there in the 80s. It was not there when these guys, Ben, Jerry, their board, in 1988 wrote that 3-part mission and coined this phrase, linked prosperity. And that is still exactly as it was then, and it is as relevant now and creates as much energy and inspiration at the company today as it did in 1988. So it's actually a little humbling when you come to Ben & Jerry's and you're thinking, am I sort of just a custodian of a legacy, or are we here to do something for the future? But what we have at Ben & Jerry's is so special, and what they've built is so unique that we as a management team are very firmly committed not to be custodians of the past, but part of the future. It's a constrained model. You have to look at your product, your economics, and your social, all at the same time in every single decision. A lot of people say, how do you trade this stuff off? You don't trade it off. You look at all three in parallel. But that's not our business model. That's how we make decisions. The business model is called this concept of linked prosperity, and that's what I'm going to talk to you about. 2 minutes. So, linked prosperity. A normal business tries to basically buy cheap and sell expensive, and the difference is for profits. We re-looked at the value chain and we said, all right, what is our role in all of this? Our role is to link the communities with which we work and create prosperity in each community. So what does that mean? It means we need to work with our farming community, which is the biggest business community in the world, the biggest set of entrepreneurs in the world, and the biggest way we're going to get out of poverty in the world. So we want to work with our farmers to create prosperity in their communities. And we want to connect them with our community where we live and work, so that we are ready to receive and interact with them. We have to take exactly the same responsibility where we are as we take for them. So we have to ensure that our people have a fair wage, a livable wage, have the right things and the right interaction in their community. And then we want to engage the people to which we sell, to the communities in which we are selling our products. We recognize our product is outrageously expensive, and it's sold primarily in the big cities. So we don't want just these people to feel that, okay, I buy Ben & Jerry's and I'm helping a vanilla farmer in Africa. No, we want to engage in the issues and the topics that are relevant in their community. So what is it that makes this whole thing work? Is it all that excruciating detailed supply chain work that we do, or all the measurements that we carry out, or all the impact stuff we do? It's not. The thing that we add to this whole picture is emotional connection. I really firmly believe we know everything we need to know today to solve every single problem that we have in the world. So the reason why it's not happening is because we're not emotionally engaging people to connect and to make a difference. So that's our gig. Now the bit that we add to this is we basically want to talk to the aspiring activist inside everyone. And we all know that everyone in the world wants to make a contribution. You feel biologically good if you have a purpose and you make a contribution. So if we can tap into that emotional energy, and the way that we do that is through fun. So we step back from very serious issues and we add a big smile to it. That's how we break down the barrier. That's how we create the emotional connectivity. So when, if you're out there starting your business, thinking about what you can do in the world, think about there's not as a finger-wagging exercise that we're doing things better than everyone else. Think of this as how do I emotionally engage others to participate in solving the social issue I'm trying to address. That's my big idea.
Thank you. Stay there. So Jostein, in principle, yes, it's about love, peace, and it's about connections.
Yes.
Oh,
that's
got
the last chart. I need that.
There
So
you
you have a little beautiful picture here while we're
Okay. So that's great in principle, but the vast majority of businesses don't think like that. They think short term, they think profit, they think it's only about shareholders, they have no connection, they have value chains that stretch around the world, they're far too complex, they're not bothered about it. How are we going to get, it's not enough of, even Paul Polman, the CEO of Unilever, your parent company, says, if I'm successful in driving change, it's irrelevant, because actually we need everybody to drive it. How are we going to get to that stage?
I knew Joel would come a really easy question to warm up.
That was my easy question. Just wait till the next one.
I really think if you're looking at 80s, 90s, 2000, where we are today, the acceleration of the social change that we're seeing, the acceleration of the challenge, the mobile devices that are not a marketing opportunity, but it's the democratization of information. So you very quickly see none of these winners would work for a bad company. None of these winners would work for those companies. They want to work for companies with a purpose. They want to work for companies that's going to do good. So the pressure is going to grow. And as people, consumers, start voting and know, and the transparency, and you can't hide anymore behind a two-dimensional brand. A two-dimensional brand has a price and a benefit. But with the mobile world and the amount of information that people have and can digest, I really believe the pressure is just going to grow. There's going to be no choice. Companies are either going to have to adapt and get in and get on, or get out of the way.
And how do you drive those values? I mean, obviously you're very lucky because you, as you said, you've got a legacy with Ben and Jerry that created it on that basis. But there are a lot of companies where even if they want to drive those values back into the business, it's incredibly hard because actually, business has been set up in such a way that actually those things have been, say, leave that at your front door when you come to work, don't bring it into work. How can we actually drive those changes into business? And because I imagine even within Ben and Jerry, not everyone wants to have a big smile on their face every day.
No, we have some real grumpy people as well.
How long do they last?
Put a smile on the face in the end. I think I'm looking at Unilever, which has 165,000 people, operate in 180 countries. And the way Paul is driving change there is very much in a staged approach, where basically everybody gets a target. And everybody in big businesses work to target and KPI. So he's using exactly the same business model to get to sustainability. So you have a carbon reduction target by business unit, and if you don't make it, you don't get your pay. Just like if you don't sell, you don't get your pay. So the variable pay part. So he is incentivizing the organization very much in phase one, using the traditional, this is what you got to deliver. And then as you're getting into stage two, of course, you really want to transition this from a top-down, you must do this, to a bottom-up revolution where we can just achieve so much more and really release all the individual pockets of leadership that are out there. So, but I'm seeing the change happening quicker than you think in a large company like Unilever. The stock market is a little slow, and I'm looking forward to some of our more financially savvy, because you can see the pushback from shareholders, particularly now as we're going into another crunch in the West End world. You're seeing a lot of big shareholders pushing back on big companies that are taking the first sort of fledgling steps here. So we have to be very protective of this in this next phase.
And just finally, so your big idea is about emotional connection. But I mean, do you really believe that that is possible to become a defining part of business? Because actually, when you look at business now, that's been squashed out of business. So my question particularly though is, what is the fear within business of having an emotional connection? What is it going to mean for people? Because things happen for a reason. So the fact that business squeezed connections out as part of this globalization, there was a purpose behind that, and people felt obviously comfortable in some way to have that. So what's the fear of it coming back?
Well, you know, when you see what a mobile revolution can do to a country, to a dictator, to a whole system, I think there is a lot of fear in big corporate America if that force turns on your company because you got a big hidden secret. That's a big fear. And the power of that, we've seen how quickly that power can be harnessed and driven in. So, you know, often I say, I don't really care why you're changing for good. If you're changing because you're playing defense and you're really scared, well, we'll scare the heck out of you. But you really get the benefit when you engage all the people in the company, you know, to engage with it. Because that's when you get the exceptional performance. You know, our product is a bloody nightmare to make. It is a pain to make. That's why nobody else is making it. You're going to get all these weird, wonderful inclusions into this product. Sauces, everything's coming at you. But our people make that product really well because they're really committed. I think they're more committed than any other ice cream maker in the world. Because they're part of that purpose. So I think that people will rapidly see you're going to be a better performing, a more profitable business. But how you get there, you can either use the fear factor or you can have some fun and get on with it.
Great, Jostein, thank you very, very much. Thank you.